Hi everyone, my name's Dale. I'm the Curriculum Manager for the Digital Marketer Apprenticeship here at Apprentify. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the learner journey for the Digital Marketer Apprenticeship. At Apprentify, we have taken the Digital Marketer Apprenticeship Standard, which has been out for around about 2 years at time of recording, and we've built upon this by adding our own bespoke Path to Mastery. I'll come to the Path to Mastery towards the end of this video, but what you can expect to cover during this video are the following. We're going to be looking at the expectations of you and of us throughout the programme, the key milestones in the Digital Marketer Apprenticeship, the delivery model, so how the qualification and apprenticeship is actually taught, and finally, the learning outcomes, so the various topics of study that we'll be covering throughout the programme, through every unit and through every knowledge module. What you should see on your screen now is a snaking diagram, and I'd like to draw your attention to the top left corner of that diagram, starting with basic marketing principles and market segmentation, M1, Unit 1/2. Now, before I start talking about the units in any detail, let me just scroll down and highlight this key, which should now be in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. What you should see there are 7 icons, and each icon relates to a different style of delivery for that qualification or for that unit. So for example, you can see digital project portfolio, self-study, development coach session, virtual session, etc., all the way down to summative portfolio development. That's the way in which a particular unit is delivered. So if I draw your attention now to currently towards the middle of your screen where it says M10, Workshop 10, what you'll see is that all 7 are listed there. By point of comparison, if we scroll to basic marketing principles and market segmentation, there's only 5 of them there. So each different icon means a slightly different way that that unit is being delivered. The qualification is broken down into 4 quarters, roughly equating to 3 months in each quarter. Each quarter represents a knowledge module. So we start off with knowledge module 2, which is marketing principles. In knowledge module 2, there are 5 units. Starting with unit 1 in month 1, which is basic marketing principles and also market segmentation. So unit 1 in month 1, this is where we cover the basic marketing principles that any marketer would need to know, whether a lifelong marketer or brand new to the industry. So we cover concepts like the 7 P's of marketing, the product life cycle, how to work in a marketing team, and the various different tools, platforms and channels that a digital marketer might employ on a day-to-day basis. Also in month 1, we look at market segmentation. More commonly known as target audiences, market segmentation is how we build specific markets and specific target audiences based on 4 key strategies: geographic, demographic, behavioral, and psychographic targeting. Segmentation is also about creating buyer personas, so identifying the different types of customer that we have in our market and in our sector, and how we create marketing material that is more likely to make that individual convert. Moving into month 2, we have unit 3 and unit 4. Unit 3 is the customer. So the customer is where we focus on not just the individual themselves, but we understand why a customer is where they are in terms of their buying process. What tells us where they are in their buying process and which marketing materials are most appropriate for the individual depending on what stage of the buying process they're in, whether it be very early on and just researching or right at the end when they're ready to convert. We also look at the customer life cycle and the various stages of the customer life cycle that a business can employ in order to generate loyalty, generate repeat purchases, and how to use material at the right stage for that customer as well. In Unit 4, Marketing and the Business, we will cover how we align our marketing ideas and the marketing material that's available to us with what the business and the organization needs. Different types of marketing are more appropriate for different stages in the customer life cycle as much as they are for different organizational strategies. So we will look at how to create marketing for acquisition strategies as well as retention, whilst also looking at how to create appropriate aims and objectives and goals for a business which can actually be underpinned by marketing. And we'll look at setting smart targets for a marketing department as well. Moving into month 3 and unit 5, we have digital strategy. So this is how we now take the marketing elements, principles that we know so far, and we apply a digital spin to them. So we will look at tactics like search engine optimization, we'll look at blogging and writing articles to drive traffic towards our website, and we'll also look at how to use data effectively to generate impactful insight into what our business is doing and what our customers are interested in. Now you'll notice here, just after Unit 5 is one of our first key milestones. Key milestones in the diagram are signified by the line through the snaking diagram. So you'll see one between M3 and M4. If you follow it along, you'll also see one after M6 and before M7. And following it further, you'll see one after M9 before it heads down towards the path to mastery. These are all the end of a knowledge module. So before we finish off this first knowledge module, we have an exam. The Marketing Principles exam is a 40-question, multiple choice, 65% pass rate exam in invigilated conditions. So that's a pass rate of 26 out of 40. It's an hour long, it's invigilated, so you will agree a location to sit this exam with your development coach and also others who need to sit that exam on that day as well. Moving into knowledge module 1, the principles of coding. The principles of coding isn't about learning to be a developer, far from it. The idea behind it is to understand the underpinning technologies and the underpinning web languages that support digital marketing. Starting off with month 4 and unit 6, you will look at how the web works. So how the web works is looking at the technologies that support digital marketing, looking at the difference between the internet and the World Wide Web and how those two different technologies and how those two different elements have evolved. We'll look at servers, databases, hosting methods, content management systems, and all the different technologies that support digital marketing. Like I said, it's important to understand these concepts because digital marketing, we need to know the layers of the internet. So then if something goes wrong, we're able to troubleshoot and we're able to make our content more adaptable, more digestible, and we're able to get the content out to as many people as possible. Month 5, Unit 7, Web Development. Again, to reiterate, there's no expectation to become a web developer. That's a different line of work entirely. However, as a digital marketer, you will need to know the various different web development languages that are available and how they interact together to actually create modern web applications. So we will look at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, how these languages all interact with each other, and how they create the various different elements that we see on modern day websites. There will be some coding involved. Again, no expectation to become a coder, but learning the principles of front-end development is important in digital marketing, again, so we know how to work with clients to make sure that we're delivering a platform that's right for them, and how to also work in-house so we know what's available for our business if we're creating a website for ourselves. Month 6 and Unit 8. Website compatibility. In the modern world, there are so many different platforms, so many different operating systems, so many different manufacturers of hardware, so many different file types, it can be quite easy to get lost. What we need to know as digital marketers is how to create content and create campaigns that reach as many people as possible so that technical considerations aren't inhibiting them. So we will look at different file types, we'll look at different softwares, we'll look at different operating systems, we'll look at different technologies that support websites. We'll also look at technologies like web APIs and how to get websites to talk to each other so that data is being shared readily to make it easier for the end user as much as for yourselves. Now you'll notice that there's a key milestone here again, the Principles of Coding exam. This is a 20-question, 65% pass rate, multiple choice, half an hour exam. Again in invigilated conditions, pass rate 13 out of 20. Moving into knowledge module 3, at Apprentify, what we have opted for is instead of delivering Knowledge Module 3 as it is, we've decided to use the Google Analytics individual qualification. Google Analytics is a really powerful tool to be using as a digital marketer, which is why we have decided to use it as the qualification instead of Knowledge Module 3. Google Analytics, the individual qualification, is split into two main areas, beginner and advanced. At Apprentify, we've split up advanced again into two sections so that for you, coming onto the program, you're not just learning the basics of digital marketing and the basics of Google Analytics, but you're also learning how to really use this tool to the fullest of its potential to create powerful campaigns for your business. For the Google Analytics beginner session, we'll look at how to use the basic reports within the system to generate some insight into our customers, whether that be acquisition, behavior, conversion, real time. We'll also look at some of the key metrics that get reported by Google Analytics: bounce rate, time on page, as well as looking at some of the basic information that the platform returns to us, whether that be where a customer came in from, so what channel, whether it be paid search, social media, direct, email, whether it be physically where they are in the world, whether it be age, gender, whatever it is. The advanced section, like I said, we split into two different units. In the advanced section overall, we look at how to customize Google Analytics for our business, including custom reports, custom dimensions, custom metrics, applying segmentation into Google Analytics so that we're getting a really good understanding of what a target audience that's appropriate for us are doing, how to map out a journey for the customer is going on using the user flow or the behavior flow so we can see the common journeys customers are using through our website to optimize them to the best of their ability. Now, Google Analytics is a slightly different exam. It's 90 minutes, it's an 80% pass rate, and there are 80 questions. Once you pass your Google Analytics exam, you will be an advanced user of that platform and you'll be able to use that platform day in, day out to really generate impactful, insightful data for your business. Now, that's the end of the core delivery for the program. But like I said slightly earlier on, what we've done is we've taken the core program and we have enhanced it with what we're calling the Path to Mastery. The Path to Mastery, as you can see on your screen now, is split into two different paths. What we try to do at Apprentify is replicate the concept in digital marketing, but there are many different specialties. Some will specialise in copywriting, some will specialise in images, web design, web development. There are lots of different paths that a marketer can take. Now, we can't cater for every single one of those paths, but what we have done is try to offer 4 of the major paths for digital marketing: social media marketing, search marketing, web development, and web design. So if you follow path 1 along to the Path to Mastery Digital, you'll see that we have social media marketing and search marketing. Social media marketing is where you'll cover your Facebook Blueprint core competencies. So this is looking at the Facebook portfolio of platforms: Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, how to buy adverts, how to create adverts, how to target customers using their ads manager platforms. You'll achieve a certificate at the end of it, and Apprentify will support you all the way through achieving your Facebook Blueprint qualifications, so you're an expert in social advertising. Search marketing is where we'll look at the Google Ads portfolio of qualifications. So this is pay-per-click or pay-per-impression adverts using the search network, the display network, or other channels as well, including video. So in the search marketing path, you will look at your Google Ads fundamentals, as well as another Google Ads qualification: search, display, video, whatever is most appropriate for your business. And we will support you in how to use those platforms to create adverts that are high-performing, converting well. If you follow path 2 down towards the bottom of the screen, you'll see the Path to Mastery Technical. Although there's no expectation of you to become a developer, some want to develop websites more actively. Some businesses require those with development skills. So the Path to Mastery Technical is using a third-party software called Pluralsight. Pluralsight is a really fantastic piece of software that allows you to enroll into different courses that are aligned with different technologies and different disciplines. So if you enroll into the web development path, you will look at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and advanced level, as some of the JavaScript libraries as well, whether it be jQuery, Angular, React, whatever's appropriate for your business, so you can start specializing in developing web applications. The Path to Mastery web design will look more at the Adobe Creative Suite, so Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, After Effects. Again, whatever's appropriate for your business, you can enroll into courses onto there. You won't come out with a certificate with development or the design pathway. However, Pluralsight tracks your progress all the way through so that you can see how long you spent on a course, how much completion you've done of that course, what activities you still have to do. Alongside the Paths to Mastery, every apprentice will also do their Endpoint Assessment Readiness Programme. Endpoint Assessment is at the end of your qualification, where your work throughout the apprenticeship is verified by an independent third-party assessor. They will look at a number of different things: a portfolio of your best work, a reference created by your employer, a project that you complete towards the end of your apprenticeship, a snapshot of your skills, and an interview where you speak to the third-party assessor for an hour. Using all of those different assessment methods, they will give you a grading decision: pass, merit, distinction. The best way I can describe endpoint assessment is like a driving test. Let's say I was your driving instructor. I would teach you your maneuvers, signs of the road, how to turn left, right, how to change gears, whatever it is in the car itself. But I won't sit the exam with you. I won't examine you because there's an inherent bias. We need to make sure that people going out onto the road are safe to drive and that they're not a risk to others and that they know how to drive. Now, digital marketing, you're probably not going to kill anyone. However, the same theory applies. If I take you through your qualification, or one of the development coaches take you through your qualification, I have an inherent bias. I want you to pass, so that I can tell the next apprentice, all of my apprentices pass, which isn't fair, and it's not generating a high quality apprenticeship. So an endpoint assessor will look at these 4 different areas that you've generated for them, and they'll come up with that grading decision to make sure that digital marketers going out into the industry are of the highest quality possible. Now, to prepare you for endpoint assessment, there are 3 different sections that we will prepare you for, which is your portfolio and how to create case studies and reports and evidence your work in the best way possible. The synoptic project and how to perform a synoptic project, what kind of case studies they'll be asking you to create, what kind of projects they'll be asking you to do. So you'll go through a dummy synoptic project to ensure that you are capable of working in those conditions. And finally, a mock interview where you'll work with one of the development coaches here to talk about your portfolio, how you've evidenced things, what you've managed to show, and they'll give you feedback at the end to make sure that your portfolio is of the highest quality possible, and they're also giving you tips on how to interview with an endpoint assessor as well. You're not officially off program until you've completed endpoint assessment, so Apprentify will continue working with you at that point on your path to mastery. Once you've been through endpoint assessment and you've had your grading decision back, you're done. Your apprenticeship is completed and you've passed. The final element that I haven't mentioned is functional skills. Every apprentice has to demonstrate a minimum standard of English and maths for their apprenticeship. Digital marketer is no different. In fact, digital marketer is possibly more important that your English and maths skills are top class. When you're creating content every single day and you're writing blogs, writing social media posts, writing articles for the website, naturally you're using English on a day-to-day basis to a high standard. The same applies to maths, where you're looking at reports, data, having to come up with statistics and insights from the performance of your social media channels, your website, email, whatever the case may be. So during the first 3 months of your program, you will cover functional skills unless you have a grade C or a grade 4 in the new GCSEs or above, at which point you are exempt. If you don't have a grade C or above in GCSE English or Maths, or a grade 4 or above in GCSE English and Maths, then we will complete functional skills with you in the first 3 months, which requires a slightly different program. If you are exempt, that doesn't mean that we stop looking at English and maths for you, however. One of the main focuses of your development coach will be to continuously stretch and challenge your maths and English skills. And every session, whether that be virtual classroom, face-to-face, or remotely. Every apprenticeship has a requirement of 20% of its time that has to be spent doing off-the-job training. What is off-the-job training? It's training that is away from your normal day-to-day job. So if your normal day-to-day job is to create content for social media, that's on the job. If you go to a conference for the day, that's off the job. If you attend class with Apprentify, that's off the job. If you do an hour a week of self-study, or you do a Friday afternoon doing continuous professional development, or CPD, that's off the job. The idea of off-the-job training is to ensure that your employer and Apprentify are supporting you to make sure that you're getting enough training to learn your trade whilst also being on the job at the same time. That's it. That is your digital marketer apprenticeship learner journey. I appreciate you might have some questions, so please direct any questions that you have towards today's facilitator or your recruitment executive. If you have any specific questions for me, please ask them to get in touch with me, or you can contact me at dale.walker@apprentify.com. Hopefully, I'll see you soon.